Welcome, and yes, I'm indeed back with ranting on another Roblox channel, since why not? Since I do have a lot of ideas I want to do and consider it. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to be looking back at a topic that I did talk about one channel, that of course being, quirk blocks. But yeah, I have talked about this channel before, and I do still kind of stand by my claim that I find him to be a Hinge Roblox channel. But I will admit, he is actually not as bad as I thought he used to be. He has been giving out some really good information at least, which is at least something. And yes, I figured out the type of channel he is. He's called a Roblox rant channel. Now, for those that are wondering what Roblox rant channels are, well, take a sort where you include it in a ChatGPT script or an AI script, and then basically use a 11 voice apps with a high text-to-speech voice, and then bam, you include it in some random story, and then basically that's what you basically get. Yeah, that's the type of channel that Quirk Blocks is. And I will admit, he is slowly starting to improve, so I will give him that. Unfortunately, though, I cannot say the same for towards the other Roblox rant channel I talked about. Yes, it's about time I finally go over another Roblox rant channel. That, of course, being, yep, RoRants. Now, I basically did, of course, discover this guy before. Thanks to the Glare guy once again. And yeah, he basically does similar content, but let me just tell you, his rays on doing the reaction and rants can honestly be just as bad as, or probably even worse than Quirk Blocks. Because at least Quirk Blocks, he at least does give out some good stuff, and has slowly improved. But look at RoRants, like, let me just tell you.
So this fake millionaire just got exposed for completely fabricating his lifestyle after he posted this tweet in front of a yacht with his girlfriend, because it immediately got hit with a community note revealing he actually paid the girl $400 to take the photo with him, and she wasn't even aware of what the caption would be. But
yep, you can pretty much see, and you can definitely, I told you basically that his rants are pretty much just as worse as Quirk Blocks, to be honest, which you can pretty much see why. And you can definitely see those similarities, and in case anyone's wondering, yes, Roblox rant channels will indeed have something similar to this. Same text-to-speech voice, probably same AI script, I bet, and probably even some crazy stories like whatever this millionaire story is. Now, I don't really use Twitter or aka X, but I'm calling it Twitter. I'm not gonna call it that letter. But in all seriousness though, like, how exactly can I even be sure? If anyone actually does know about the story, maybe they can at least give me some info, I guess. But other than that, this is just really crazy, to be honest. The fact that you're basically just, gonna be mentioning something like this is just really crazy. Even as someone that definitely does want to become a millionaire, which I could definitely tell I will. But other than that, this is almost crazy and very cringe.
It didn't stop there. Since a day later, he replied to the tweet showing himself wiping his tears with a massive stack of money, but this tweet received yet another community note exposing him for holding a fake stack of prop money. But if you thought it couldn't get any worse, this dude would go on to post one final tweet saying he was done responding to the haters with a video of him driving off in a Lamborghini. But then that tweet got community noted exposing him for driving someone else's car.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is gonna question this, but where is RoRants even coming with this info? Like, really? And I don't know how basically he would even get stuff like this, because once again, I don't use Twitter. But oh my god, like, this is honestly just really crazy. You all see why I consider him to be worse than Quirk Blocks? I mean, Quirk Blocks would at least try to come up with explanations, even though it can sometimes be silly. But oh boy, let's just say it gets better and more crazier as well when I show you the next sorts.
Have you ever heard of the floating brain theory? This might be the most terrifying theory ever, because it would literally mean that you don't even exist. You see, this Nobel Prize-winning physicist suggested that because the odds of our universe existing are so incredibly slim, it's actually more likely that nature didn't create the universe at all. And
this is completely one of the most stupidest theories I've ever heard, honestly. Like, that if we don't exist, then why is it that I'm literally talking to you this right now, and why are you able to upload this sort? Like, why are you basically even claiming this? Now, I do understand that sometimes it is very understandable on how the theory, like how our universe was made, which I already know. As someone that knows a lot about the universe and space, it's pretty obvious. Like, basically, if you don't know, 13 billion years ago, well, 13.8, or probably even 14 billion years, the universe was, of course, created because the Big Bang exploded, and then many space things that we all know today came across throughout more years. Like, Earth is a great example, which is currently alive for about 4.5 billion years. It's been that long since, the Earth existed anyways. Like, what are you basically trying to claim, RoRants?
Instead, with infinite time, atoms randomly came together to produce a single brain floating in the void, which is constantly imagining that it's a person living in a world full of people with history, nature, and so on. But the craziest part is when scientists researched this theory more, they discovered that this is statistically more likely than an entire universe forming and leading up to our existence.
Well, once again, basically, universe is, of course, very infinite. Like, nobody knows how big the universe is, of course, technically, since it is very impossible to almost reach the edge of space, since there is likely no edge anyways. I mean, there is, of course, the edge of Earth, the edge of Sun, the edge of our solar system, the edge of our Milky Way galaxy. So, like, what do you even expect anyways? Like, once again, this is basically a hypothetical theory, since the universe is at least estimated to be about 14 billion years old, and nobody knows how old, or really how it was physically formed. But still, I'm just saying to you, RoRants, honestly.
99% of you aren't going to be able to understand this audio until I show you how. You see, we've discovered that our brain doesn't just hear sound passively, but it is actively predicting it, and we know—
You know, I wouldn't be willing to believe that if I wasn't getting this info from a literal Roblox rant channel that would basically use probably one of the most unhinged type of videos ever. Like, really though. And also, in case anyone's wondering, that is basically just sound effects, technically. Now, honestly, yeah, we do of course have our ways to unhearing, technically everybody does, but like, that's clearly just Audio City effects. Like, let me just show you this.
Can you guys understand what I'm saying here? Is this audio city effect technically uncovered?
Yeah, those are just some audio effects. Like, it's not really something that we had anytime new anyways. This is actually something that's been going on for quite a while anyways.
it's because after researchers recorded thousands of conversations, they found that the average response time between people was just 200 milliseconds, which would only be possible if our brains had already jumped ahead in time and predicted how a sentence was gonna end. So
This is literally stuff from what you would expect from a mind reader, technically. And I don't know what this guy here is basically even claiming about. People have done this before. It's not a new thing. You do realize that, RoRants.
I'm gonna play you a second clip, and it is gonna completely change how you hear the first one.
It was a sunny day and the children were going to the park.
Now try listening again, and you should hear it perfectly.
Jeez, did anyone even try that? Because I definitely sure did, whatever. Anyways, I'll just look at one more sword. Since, yeah, usually I think 4 swords are, you know, usually perfect to, of course, go over anyways. And thankfully, this guy's swords are at least very short, at least. They're less than 30 seconds.
This website has a picture of your death, and even knows the exact time it will happen. Because back in 2015, a developer released this website named the Library of Babel, which is coded to contain every sentence or picture ever created and ever to be created. And while you might think it's impossible that this page has a photo of your death, it works by filling a canvas with 4,096 pixels of random colors.
Yeah, I'm saying it, but this is officially the most stupidest claim I've seen from RoRants. Like, oh my god. And it's honestly making him look like a fool of himself, basically, by showing how much the Roblox rant community is like, honestly. At this rate, he's probably even just being like Guamgo. I mean, I know this is kind of a bit of a stretch, since Guamgo did a crime, you know, false copywriting, where RoRants is just being plain stupid with these topics and basically having some unhinged Roblox type videos. But honestly, I'm just saying.
And repeats this an infinite number of times. And because of how randomness works, eventually it generates every possible image that could ever exist. So even though most of the time you'll just find static, if you search any image or sentence on this site, it actually already exists.
I don't see how this is really so, oh, this website can predict your death. Like, death is basically just, oh, I don't know, just a curse. Of course, we can necessarily prevent it, and of course, stay safe, you know. As in, we do have the choice to, you know, stay alive, of course. Even though I do sometimes feel, you get the point. But, like, honestly, I don't know where you're getting this RoRants. This is basically why I honestly consider him to be worse than Quirkblocks. Like, honestly, and this really though, like, look at Quirkblocks and RoRants' videos, and you'll see how I basically consider RoRants to be worse than Quirkblocks. But yeah, anyways, it's pretty obvious this channel here is definitely garbage. If this guy here does continue making some more interesting stuff, like if he also chooses to respond, I would definitely be impressed, but whatever, I guess. I just don't know what exactly he's basically coming up with, because, like, whatever at a Roblox rant channel could even do, but whatever. Anyways, that's it for the video, so bye.